And 7 weeks after seeing off Brighton in the 4th round, Liverpool are back on the south coast. This time they face a struggling Southampton side who they beat at St Mary's less than a month ago. The Saints tonight led by interim boss Simon Rusk after the departure of Russell Martin on Sunday. We will bring you live audio commentary of all the action when it gets underway at 8 o'clock with Steve Hunter and Neil Mellor. So welcome along to Matchday Live. We're well covered in midfield. I was going to say decent, but I'm going to upgrade that to excellent.
You've got a nice blend here.
Yeah,
you've
exactly.
Got a nice sitter, and then, you know...
What, Jay doing all the running?
And then you've got him who can go box to box, legs, creativity.
At least we can both nail a few people, can't we?
Yeah, passion.
There'll be a few yellows between us.
yeah. I'd manage it, though. I'd get you through it.
You'll have gathered by now, it's just Jason McAteer and Jay Spearing. The two Jays.
Yeah.
In the studio. Delighted to have their company, and indeed the two men who are pitch side, touch side down in Southampton. Nigel Spackman alongside Rob Jones as I get my teeth in.
Thanks very much. Good evening from a very soggy south coast for this Carabao Cup quarter-final. Nigel Spackman is alongside me as Liverpool look to try and book their place in the last 4 from this part of the world. You certainly couldn't arrange the weather for us.
Yeah, the Hampshire weather is back. The Hampshire hog is there and the weather's come down, but it makes it for great conditions tonight for both teams. It'll be really zippy on top, and hopefully that'll suit Liverpool tonight.
You could make a case for why both clubs could do without this fixture just ahead of the busy festive rush, but also for both make reasons as to why it's important and significant. And for Liverpool, of course, the main reason is this is their trophy and they want it back.
Absolutely, you want to win every trophy that you're in, Rob, and this has been a very, very successful trophy over the years for Liverpool, but with so many injury problems, especially defensively at the moment, and the players having so many games with the Champions League as well as this cup competition, the Premier League, it's one of those games where you think you could do without, but you're in it and you want to win it. And Southampton is struggling, so maybe it's a good time to come and play them, but rest some of the senior players at the same time.
And the point is that for Arne Slot, it's going incredibly well in the Premier League, it's going perfectly in the Champions League, but for a manager in his first season, if he can tick off silverware late February, early March, then OK, you want to win the big ones, but you still had a good campaign nonetheless if you can win one of the 2 domestic cups.
Yeah, I mean, the first cup competition you're in is this, so you want to win it, and it's the easiest one to win. No disrespect to anybody out there, but it's the easiest one to win. If you get the draw right and you get through and you keep clear of injuries, it's a great competition to win, and everybody loves going to Wembley, especially the fans, of course. We love going there as well, but you want to win that trophy, and Arne Slot would love to win that trophy, get it ticked off, and then concentrate on what we all perceive to be the bigger trophies, the Premier League and the Champions League.
We're splitting hairs at the moment in terms of Liverpool's form, but a couple of draws rather, and that one scratchy win in Girona, which the manager himself wasn't particularly pleased with. Is there anything across those 3 games which has slightly concerned you? The Newcastle draw, the Fulham draw, and Girona in the middle?
Well, I think Newcastle was always a difficult place to go to. So, you know, you look back and you say, OK, we didn't get beat, it's a point. I think the result against Fulham with 10 men for so long just shows the hunger of all the players and the manager tactically finding a way to get something out of the game. It could be, come the end of the season, a massive point, that, Rob. The one defeat against Nottingham Forest at home, I was there, we didn't play particularly well. I thought that was probably our worst performance of the season. Girona really is one of those where you already know you've qualified basically for the Champions League. You go there, maybe the attitude wasn't spot on, but they still found a way and still won the game 6 out of 6. You can't do better than that, and you can't play well in every game.
All right, thank you very much indeed for the moment. We will wait to see what Arne Slot will do with his team tonight. The last time his predecessor came here for the first time in the League Cup, Liverpool scored 6 under Jurgen Klopp. Wouldn't mind a repeat of that tonight. Team news shortly.
Thank you very much, fellas. Delighted you're in the rain rather than us 3, but we will wait with bated breath for team news, which is not far away. So, fellas, in it, as Nigel says, to win it, Jason?
I think it's always difficult when you get to the quarter-final. Listen, I know this is on the list of priorities, probably the manager's number 4 in what he wants to win. But like I said, when you get to that quarter-final stage, you're in touch and distance, and it kind of must be, right, well, I'm not going to make wholesale changes and play all the kids. I'm going to play a pretty strong team, give the players that need minutes, they can play. And for him, the players that need minutes are top quality players, aren't they? So it's certainly not, it's not They certainly got a lot of strength whoever he plays tonight, but it's just that one step in it where you think, oh, what do I do? Do I go really strong?
It's difficult for them, but also I think we spoke about it before, didn't we? The fact that like the bench that they had at Fulham on Saturday was probably a starting 11 somewhere else in the Premier League. So there are, like Jason said, there's an incredible amount of players that still need minutes. Players coming back from injury. You know, Jota managed to play 20 minutes the weekend. Can he play a little bit more tonight? Maybe we're not too sure yet. Tsimikas is probably on his way back as well. You know, with the Robertson's suspension, is that now going to be a bit of a factor? Is he going to get rushed back? Or is the manager going to have an other option to maybe go a different way of doing things? So I'm sure we'll find different ideas tonight. Yeah,
we will soon enough. And of course, he's in the stands tonight, so it's a new adventure, new position for the manager on that one-match touchline ban. And we don't know what Southampton we're facing, do we?
No, it could be. Again, it could be completely no idea. We don't know how they're going to play. Are they going to stay and play exactly the same way? Has Russell Martin told the under-21s that he wants to replicate the first team? You know, so an under-21 manager in Simon Huss coming up, is he going to be exactly the same? Is he going to try and play all football from the back, knowing that Liverpool will probably go there and want to attack and get an early goal, just like Spurs did the weekend? Or is he going to try and shut up shop and try and keep it as tight as he can for as long as he can?
Let's have a look at the fixture list, because I think it's fair to say, whilst you are that close-ish to Wembley and a trophy, there's some good teams left in the competition.
I think it goes to show the quality of the squads of the team, isn't it? Because obviously the likes of Tottenham, United and Arsenal and us, you know, through the earlier rounds of the competition, they would be playing, not weakened sides, but the kids would be getting the opportunities. So, like I said, you know, the strength of the other teams and their squads, it goes to show, you know, with them getting through there, you know, I'd probably say, apart from Palace, we probably got the easier of the draw, didn't we? The easiest team of the draw. And like you said, it's not a great fixture for Southampton after what's happened. I don't know whether to commend Russell Martin for sticking by his philosophy, or I don't know. It's a bit of a difficult one, and they've done so well in the Championship playing that way. You know, he was maybe a little bit stubborn to think that he could come into the Premier League and replicate that kind of system, that kind of form, because obviously the players, it's a massive step up now, isn't it? Championship to Premier League, and he's been caught out. And I think the heavy defeat at the weekend to Tottenham 5, Chelsea a couple of weeks ago 5, teams around him he's been beaten by as well. You know, it was only a matter of time if he wasn't going to change. He wasn't going to change, and he's fell on his sword.
Yeah. What about Saturday from a Liverpool point of view? Good point in the end, would you say, given the circumstances?
I think so, yeah. I think it was a fantastic point. For me, it was a really big surprise in what, you know, most managers, when you go down to 10 men, most managers kind of think, oh, do you know what, we'll shut up shop, we'll try and hang on, we'll try and nick one. And you know what, for me, I think it showed the level of the manager and also the belief that he had in the players. Yeah. You know, to trust the players and to say, no, we're not going to drop in, we're not going to change the system, or we're not going to play this. We're going to play exactly the same way. We're going to be on the front foot. We're going to pick our time when to go. And I think it's credit to them and the players to get themselves and get a point out of it. And you know, the moments there, you see the moments, the difficult situations, and catch-22. Being a Liverpool fan, do I think Harry Wilson's going to get there? No. But you can see why the referees give it.
Yeah. We saw those couple of hefty challenges before then, yeah.
Yeah, I thought the referee had a really weak game. I know he's been promoted, hasn't he, in the light of what's gone on in the refereeing department. And I think someone said he was a bit nervous. I think one of the players said, and it felt like that certainly early on. I think there was 3 bookings and a sending off in the first 15 minutes. So he kind of... You know, he kind of brought his cards out a little bit maybe too soon, didn't let the game settle. I thought from a neutral point of view, I thought it was a fantastic game. It had a bit of everything, didn't it? It was brilliant. And to touch on what you said there, Jay, you know, the way the manager navigated round having 10 men, it was a real test for him, because he's never been in this situation before, as he doesn't really go a goal behind. No. But also down to 10 men, what was he going to do? He tweaked it early on, didn't he? Joe Gomez went left, he didn't like it, then he moved them around. But he stayed calm the whole way through. Yeah. I think he was the most animated I've seen him on the touchline, but his decision-making seemed to be calm. The players seemed to take on what he wanted to do.
I think his animation was probably with the referee, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think that was probably the animation that he'd found. I think that was the bit that really frustrated him. But, you know, the trust that he had in the players to go out and do what he wanted them to do, and he obviously tried one way, second way it didn't quite work, but then I think he found an unbelievable way, and obviously Gravenberg, you know, in possession, go a little bit higher and join in, but then out of possession, filling in and just protecting the back three,
I don't know about you, but when the game ended, I didn't know how I felt. I didn't know if I felt...
I think that was true of both teams, wasn't it? Both managers.
Yeah.
They were like, am I happy? Am I frustrated?
Yeah, when we analysed it and you put your pundit head on, you'd say Silva probably would be disappointed because there was a spell in the second half where they were really wasteful down that left-hand side. They put balls over the bar. Earlier balls could have got him in, created opportunities. They possibly should have gone on and won it, to be honest, from that point. But then Liverpool had a little 20-minute spell where you thought, you know, we were brilliant there and we could have won it. And then you finish the game and go, is that a good point or should I be disappointed?
Yeah.
I didn't quite know how I felt. But
Probably exhausted at the end
I
of it.
was exhausted. And plus I had J-Mo alongside me doing punditry.
So you were quite
exhausted
exhausted
anyway.
generally.
Yeah.
Fair dues for the moment. Thank you, fellas. Right, as mentioned then, Liverpool will be tonight facing a side led by Southampton interim boss Simon Rusk after the Saints parted ways with Russell Martin on Sunday. That the second Premier League managerial departure of the day after Gary O'Neill left Wolves. Arne Slot has sympathy with both men.
I feel really, really sorry for Gary O'Neill. He's done so well, in my opinion, if you look at how his team is playing, and he was so unlucky in multiple occasions, especially against West Ham, in my opinion. So these things happen, and Russell Martin has done so well last season at Southampton. Plays this season again a good football. We've experienced this when we had such a tough day over there. We only beat them 3-2. So you always feel sorry if managers don't get the chance to continue, and especially in these two situations, because for me they are managers that had a good idea of how they wanted to play with the team, and unfortunately they weren't able to get enough points, and then managers get sacked.
You yourself got to serve a 6-5 ban for this game against Southampton. How do you feel about having to serve that, and how will it impact you throughout the game?
Not as much as I thought. It should impact me because if you are suspended in Holland, then you're not allowed to be in and around the dressing room. You cannot do the media as well. So this is a lighter version of suspension. I would say that I'm used to, but I've never been used to being suspended, so it's the first time I am. I think I'm still able to do the things I want to do. The moment you have, the less impact you have on your team is during the 45 minutes, and the most impact you can have is at halftime before the game. And those are the things I can do. But in an ideal situation, I would have just been on the sideline, but I got a yellow, which I probably deserved again as well. And this happens.
Do you think you deserved all of them, or are you a little bit surprised to be?
No. One of the three I didn't deserve, but I told what I said back then, which was for Tony. Okay, that's a word we don't use that much over here. But that was meant to one of my players, so that one was a misunderstanding. But the one I got against Chelsea was absolutely deserved. This game I could have got 5 maybe. So to come out with 1 was maybe even I have to thank the referee for that.
I just want to check right now where you are as a side. Is this where you anticipated to be in a quarter-final, still fighting on all fronts when you came into this job?
To a certain extent, yes, because I think that is normal for Liverpool to be fighting for every trophy and to be for a long time in every cup, to go all the way. This happened last season when when this club won this competition. So I'm not surprised that with the quality we have, we are competing at this moment for these 3 trophies, and the 4th one is starting in January. But it is a challenge because we have a lot of competition, great competition in other teams here as well, and also in the League Cup. If you look at the other teams that are still in, it's for none of the teams that are in is going to be an easy road to the final.
On a slot, the press conference pre-match. Of course, he will be sat in the stands tonight. So from Arne, straight back to St Mary's, because our man, in the rain, poor Rob Jones, who'll be manful as always, has got the all-important team news. Rob?
Thanks very much. Well, Arne Slot has rung the changes tonight for this Carabao Cup quarter-final. 8 in total, just 3 survivors from the side that started that 2-2 draw against Fulham at Anfield on Saturday. They are Trent Alexander-Arnold and Joe Gomez in defence and Cody Gakpo in attack as well. So let's take you through the Liverpool team in full. Quaveen Gallagher back in goal. He didn't play in the last round at Brighton. Yaros started that one, but he does play his 17th League Cup tie tonight. We think that it's going to be Trent Alexander-Arnold at right back, Joe Gomez, who was in the squad when Liverpool played Southampton here in a League Cup semi-final nearly 8 years ago, and then Wataru Endo, whose only starts this season have come in the League Cup. He will start alongside Jarell Quansah at centre-half, Virgil van Dijk given the night off in full. In midfield, Alexis McAllister back from suspension alongside Tyler Morton and Trey Nyoni, who makes his first Liverpool start tonight. And then a front three, it'll be of Harvey Elliott, who starts for Liverpool for the first time since the final day of last season, Cody Gakpo in a rich vein of goal-scoring form, and then Darwin Núñez, who's at the other end of that scale at the moment. In amongst the substitutes, Costas Tsimikas back from injury and back on the bench, Diogo Jota, who made a goal-scoring return against Fulham on Saturday, and Federico Chiesa, whose appearances for Liverpool have been limited so far due to injury and illness. Nigel Spackman still alongside me. As many changes as you imagined?
Yeah, I think he's had to do that. I think the game at Tottenham at the weekend is probably more important than this. And some players need a rest, some players have got slight injuries, and obviously the suspension of Andrew Robertson. So he's had to tweak it, but it's still a strong team. I think with McAllister coming back in after suspension in the midfield, he can boss that area. It's going to be interesting to see if Endo does play as a centre-back. I think Ryan Gravenberch at the weekend did a great job there, as he's done a great job everywhere this season for Liverpool. So see if it has that balance. But you've got the experience of Joe Gomez and Trent obviously there as well. But up front, you're absolutely right. Núñez needs a goal, and hopefully they get a 1 or 2 tonight.
We think it'll be Wataru Endo, as I said, to play centre-half tonight. He has the characteristics of a central defender in that he's big, he's pretty strong. You would expect, and he's played there for Stuttgart before in the past as well, so that should be a fairly easy transition.
Well, it's always difficult when you're playing for a new team in that position where you haven't played for the team before. He might have done it in training on occasions when they're doing things, but alongside Quansah tonight, who's a fantastic player, but he needs to get back his confidence, I think, and grow again, because last season I thought he was tremendous. Maybe this season not quite reached those heights, but starting tonight, him and Endo in there, hopefully the understanding is there, and then obviously Joe Gomez covering round if Trent pushes on down the right-hand side. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see if McAllister drops back in there sometimes and Endo ends up in midfield, so that rotation would be interesting tonight. And
as you said, it is a boost that Alexis McAllister is back from suspension, particularly alongside 2 young men in midfield tonight. What an opportunity for Trey Nyoni in particular.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. I think he's a fantastic player. When I've seen he's played in a wider position rather than a more central, but that interchange might be in there with Elliott. They might interchange as well, but I think McAllister talking them through it. Tyler Morton's a wonderful player as well, so a good opportunity for him tonight to show the manager what he can do. And then you've got the front three, as you said, Gakpo in great form, and hopefully he'll carry on that goal-scoring form tonight.
Do you think someone like Nyoni, I think back to when you would have made debuts and particularly been a young midfielder, that it would have changed, that maybe the advice you'd have got is, we'll play the short passes, do everything simple, but the modern young player is very different, and I suspect he'll probably be encouraged to try things and do what he does for the age group teams.
Absolutely, because the age groups play similar to the first team, so he knows the role that the manager wants from him. But I think what he's got, he can run with the ball as well. So if he gets in those little pockets between the back line and the midfield players and leaves Tyler Morton in there with McAllister, he can exploit those spaces and then get into wide areas with Elliott or with Gakpo so they can come more central. So I think it's just how you pick up on who's marking you and what the manager wants from you, and I think he's more than capable of going out there tonight and having a really good game and showing us all what a quality player he is.
We've spoken a lot over the last 4 months or so about some of the players that have benefited from the arrival of Arne Slot. It's been bad luck for Harvey Elliott that he had that injury right at the start, but this, he will feel he's got a lot to prove and impress upon Arne Slot tonight, you might say.
Well, I think Arne Slot has talked very highly about him in training, what he's seen from him, but now you've got to do it on the big pitch, and he's got the energy to do it, and it's a great opportunity for him tonight to go out there and show the manager what he can do. But the important part of the season is just starting. You know, we're in great positions in all competitions, but from this game onwards, it comes thick and fast, And really, you want to get to the cup final, as you said, or to the semi-finals, the 2 legs, and then move on from there, Rob. But it gives all these players an opportunity to show their fitness levels, getting more minutes on the pitch, and it gives the manager more options going forwards, and that's what the manager wants. But everybody wants to play, and sometimes you've got to be a bit patient.
Well, a lot of the heavy hitters have been given the night off tonight, the likes of Mo Salah, Virgil van Dijk, Ryan Gravenberch, all with their feet up at home. But you would say, looking at that Liverpool squad, there is more than enough quality to get themselves into the semi-finals.
Great stuff. Thank you very much again to Rob and to Nigel. Right, plenty to get our teeth into there. Jay, you know Trey Neone better than most, I would think. Probably almost as well as his mum and dad.
He's chased him enough over the last 3 months.
Exactly. So tell us, is he ready? What are his attributes?
For me, yeah. For me, he's 100% ready. I think he showcased it in the last group game with Brighton away. Looking at his individual bits that we were sent over, he looked calm, collective on the ball. You got to remember that last season, as a 16-year-old, he played every single game at under 21 level. For a 16-year-old to do it and probably be one of the standout players and be one of the best players in the league, not just for us, but in the league, obviously shows the class that he's at, that he is. I'm not trying to put too much pressure on him, but he is a very, very mature player for his age. He trains with the first team regularly every single day. That can only help him, playing alongside the Mo Salahs, the McAllisters, the Gravenberch. He's not much older than him. To follow in their footsteps and be around them on a daily basis only can improve him. Looking at the goal here, his technique is there.
It was the pre-season.
He's a really calm boy. I just want him to enjoy himself.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing for me tonight. As long as he enjoys himself, gets on the ball, the football will do the talking. He's capable
the
of doing it.
celebration tells you everything about him, doesn't it? He just takes it. Seems to take it. I'd be running laps around Anfield.
He's very calm. Like he doesn't like. He's not a big character. He keeps himself to himself. He's quite quiet. He's still only a very young boy, but he's definitely ready for the occasion.
I mean, he's already got a winner's medal in this competition, lest we forget. He was an unused sub back at Wembley in the spring when they beat Chelsea, so he likes this cup. He wouldn't mind another one. Yeah,
I mean, I'm certainly not putting pressure on him, like you just said there, but we look at Lamine Yamal, what he's done. Yeah. I mean, obviously it's another step up again, isn't it? But if they're ready, aren't they? And
the manager trusts them, clearly.
That's it. And being around top quality players, he can only improve. And I think, his character, like Jay just said there, he's only going to take it in like a sponge, isn't he? He's not, doesn't seem to be the type to think he's already made it, or he's got a bit of a chip on his shoulder. He looks like he wants to learn. Like Yamal, they just want it, don't they? They just suck it in like a sponge, and then they go out and perform, but they stay humble with it. Yeah. And that's what he's like. And to get this opportunity, I think again it's testament to what the academy are doing. But I like the fact that managers got the trust in him. We've seen it with Jürgen over the years. He wasn't frightened to have a go. No. And I think for the youngsters in the academy, they need a manager like that, because younger players, they don't want to think that they're in the academy and it's a means to an end where they're never going to get in.
Well, I was going to say, and you've got young Rio Ngamoa, who's not long arrived from Chelsea, and he will see decisions like that and think, there's my pathway.
That's what it is, yeah. That's exactly what the boys want. I was speaking to under 14s and 15s last night at Anfield, and you kind of paint a picture for them that this club over the years has had a history of bringing through local lads and giving lads opportunities. Yeah. They've all got to work hard and they've got to earn it, but the club is renowned for it, especially under Jürgen Klopp. It was a big factor, but the manager's showing again tonight that all the lads who are on the bench there, that he's going to give opportunities. If you work hard enough, you get your head down, you're doing things day to day on and off the field, like they're all learning the picture now, like they're all lads who just want to play football at the end of the day. And what
Uncle Jarell putting an arm round.
Yeah, he's probably now he is. He's probably the old one there.
You say that though, Tyler Morton. I was just saying when we were listening to Rob before, I was in Milan when he came on. Well, he didn't come on. He started the game.
Did he?
He started like AC Milan in the Champions League. Yeah. It was like whoa. I mean, and he took it in his stride. Another one just took it in his stride.
Tyler's,
unfortunately, to get into that Liverpool midfield is
it's a difficult one. But Tyler's probably a lot more experienced than Jarell.
Yeah, that was my point.
But like in a little bit of a nicer way, because he's had 2 years on loan, one at Blackburn, done exceptionally well, then went to Hull and probably played another 50-60 games, so he's probably got 120 games under his belt. So for someone like Tyler, people look at it tonight and go, Tyler Morton's playing, it's probably one of his first games. It's not. No. Tyler could, to be honest, in my opinion, probably be playing for Southampton at the level, the level that I believe that he could play at. He could be playing for like Southampton tonight to that side.
I suppose it's to some extent at the other end of the spectrum, Wataru Endo, who plays at centre-half, we think, tonight. Is he ready for that? Well, we'll find out, won't we? That's putatively what we think.
Could he play it? Yeah, of course he could. Defensive midfielder. He's only going to take a couple more steps back, and he's in that centre half role. Isn't he? It's not far away from it if you want to look at it like that.
Yeah.
But listen, again, he's got the attributes. He's a clever player. He's a calm player. Doesn't get flustered.
And they say better in the air than he's given credit for.
Yeah, I think his key attribute is the way he reads the game. Yeah. So to see the whole pitch in front of him, I don't have a problem. I'd be surprised Jay might know a little bit more. I'd be surprised if he plays centre half. I don't know.
I wouldn't be able to tell you, mate. I'd love to give you a bit more info, but I can see. I just worry about who could be left back. Obviously, but you got Gomez. Obviously, Gomez would be more left back. If Gomez was more inside, then who would fill in at left back?
Exactly.
Are we doing it like a numbers thing, like we don't have enough defenders, so we've stuck Endo in the centre half position? Is that what we've done?
Well, I think there's an element, isn't there?
No, I agree with you.
Needs must here. There are
Yeah,
only so many defenders.
That's what I'm trying to say. Obviously, Gomez would more suitably probably be a left back rather than throwing Endo out to a left back.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Yeah, so
it
then
makes
maybe
sense.
dropping backwards and forwards is better than going from a 6 position to a left back to
And
wide.
the 10 men on Saturday also maybe had the coaching staff thinking about fluidity and shape in and out of possession. Maybe it'll become a 3 at times and someone can step in, step back. There's a bit of that. The systems aren't fixed, are they? You know better than
of course, Like in build-up, it could be, we could start off as centre-back, maybe a question. And obviously, when the game goes further forward towards the halfway line, if Liverpool have got a little bit more control in their game, they can make a few passes. I'm sure that we will see him maybe step into midfield. Gomez and Jarrell can maybe tighten up as a 2 centre-backs. You've seen Virgil and Kanate over the start of the season play more as a 2 with maybe Trent onto the side. So, ideally that would be, we're guessing, but hopefully it works out that way.
Yeah.
We'll work it out, we promise. For those of you watching us on social media, we are about to say goodbye, but if you do want to stay with us for more build-up, you can find details of how to do that and become an LFC TV subscriber online at liverpoolfc.com/watch. There's plenty more to come, though, after the break on Matchday Live, including an interview with Harvey Elliott before kickoff. Audio commentary of all the action comes your way at 8 o'clock. And then we'll have, of course, reaction and analysis here in the studio from 10. That post-match show will also be available as an official LFC podcast a little later, and you can rewatch the full match on LFC TV from midnight. And do look out for the latest Inside, with plenty of behind-the-scenes footage from tonight's game. That will land on the club's Facebook and YouTube pages tomorrow evening. It is then Southampton against Liverpool for a place in the semi-finals of the Carabao Cup. We'll be back with you on LFC TV in a couple of minutes' time. See you then.